So the U.S. House of Representatives voted 221 to 212 to open an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Every single Republican House member voted to consider impeaching the president, despite them finding absolutely zero evidence to justify that in their 11-month congressional investigation. From the day they were sworn in as the 118th Congress, the stated goal of the most extreme members of this party have been to impeach the president, fundamentally as retribution for Trump being impeached. And now they have voted to go ahead with a formal inquiry without cause. And as an American citizen, this should really upset you. Government officers don't get to just publicly claim people committed crimes without evidence. We don't arrest people and tell them we're going to look for the evidence later. That's not how it works, and we shouldn't be okay with it working like this for an impeachment. Impeachments are supposed to be a huge deal. To accuse a sitting president of a high crime and misdemeanor is a giant blow to the country, and until now it's been used incredibly sparingly. There have only been 3 impeachments in the 247 years America's been a nation. There was almost 4, but Nixon resigned before he could be impeached. Impeachment should be incredibly rare. And until Donald Trump, it really was. In fact, 2 of the 3 impeachments in our country's entire history belong to him. Impeachments are also so serious that you should be able to explain why they're happening in less than 30 seconds. We have recorded evidence of Donald Trump trying to blackmail a foreign ally to smear his opponent and win an election. We have recorded video footage of Donald Trump instigating a violent attack on the Capitol in an attempt to stop the certification of an election and keep himself in power. We have public testimony that Bill Clinton lied to cover up an affair he had with an intern in the White House. Personally, I never thought that one rose to the level of a high crime or misdemeanor, but what can you do? Well, what you can do is see from the history of our impeachments that Republican presidents face impeachment when there is evidence they've committed a crime. And Democratic presidents face impeachment when they're doing really well and somebody needs to hang something on them. Impeachment is therefore a way to either hold a president accountable or a way to smear and distract your opponent. And make no bones about it, that's exactly what this impeachment inquiry is. A political hit job on a successful sitting president running for re-election. The goal of this inquiry isn't for Republicans to catch a criminal president. The goal is to tarnish Joe Biden's name just enough to beat him in an election. Remember Benghazi? Remember butthurt emails? Kevin McCarthy said the quiet part out loud when he said, everybody thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, but then we put together the Benghazi Special Committee and look at her numbers today. This is how the party thinks. This is how they work. This inquiry has nothing to do with helping the American people. It's 100% about keeping themselves in power despite the American people. It is a trick and a ruse and a sleight of hand, and you shouldn't fall for it. When asked directly what specific constitutional crimes they were investigating, the Republican representatives said high crimes, misdemeanors, and bribery. And I agree, that sounds terrible. But when asked which high crimes, misdemeanor, and bribery, they said, we'll let you know when we figure it out. Well, that's not how it's supposed to work at all. Imagine you were publicly accused of bribery and you were like, what bribery? And the government officials accusing you were like, we'll let you know when we figure it out. You'd be upset, right? You'd be like, this isn't fair. I didn't do anything. You can't just accuse someone of a crime you don't have any evidence of. But that is exactly what the Republicans are doing. James Comer, the chair of the House Oversight Committee, has told us the evidence against Joe Biden is irrefutable. He had whistleblowers and witnesses all ready to testify. He had $50 million of direct payments to Joe Biden that he could prove went right into his account. And he has none of that. And his witnesses and whistleblowers are either criminals who were in the wind or people who testified that Biden did nothing wrong. So far, all Comer's been able to prove is that Joe Biden was repaid by family members for loans he gave them when he wasn't in office. And if you've ever helped your kid with a car payment or loaned your brother money when he was in a tough spot, rest assured that was not a crime, despite what James Comer and the Republicans would have you believe. The fact is, the Republicans have spent a good part of the last 4 years painting Joe Biden like the head of some international crime family, with thousands of bank accounts and laundered money, but it's all fabricated nonsense. There have been so many accusations, but there is literally zero evidence that Joe Biden is tied to a single crime. And again, as an American who's paying for these committees and these fishing expeditions, and now this impeachment inquiry, as an American who needs their representatives to actually do the job of running the government, as an American who cares about the rule of law and wants our government to be following it, this entire situation is a travesty. A waste of time and money with nothing to show but a partisan vote to continue this government-funded smear campaign. The irony of the whole thing, of course, is that of every politician in Washington, the Republicans are attempting to find dirt on the biggest Boy Scout in America. Joe Biden has been in federal government since his 30th birthday. He ran for president in 1988, in 2008, in 2020. He was the vice president of the United States from 2009 to 2017. This man has been vetted. If there was dirt on Joe Biden, the Republicans would have it by now. But the problem is, in today's political and media environment, it doesn't matter that the story isn't true. It doesn't matter that they have no evidence, or that, as Republican Representative Ken Buck said, the entire thing rests on fictitious facts and imagined history. The bottom line is, the de facto leader of the Republican Party, the twice impeached criminally indicted rapist currently dealing with 91 felony charges, who has publicly said he plans to be a dictator, wants this to happen. And every Republican is now on record choosing his will over the truth and the law. So let this vote finally clarify for the American people that there are no Republican moderates left. The Republican Party you know is gone. This is a party of extremists and cowards who want to punish Joe Biden for doing the very thing they say is impossible, which is making government work. They can't be reasoned with. They're not coming to their senses. This is why Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney and conservative scion and queen of the GOP Liz Cheney are gone, and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert are here. Lauren Boebert actually made a good point the other day when she was attempting to slander Joe Biden. She claimed that people come up to her all the time and ask how such a corrupt man can still be in office. And the answer, Lauren, is that he couldn't. If there was any evidence Joe Biden had done all the things he's accused of, he'd be gone and the Democrats would be on board. But there isn't, so he's here. What people should be asking you, Lauren, is why you continue to lie to them and make up fantasies to stoke a never-ending partisan battle that does nothing to help the American people. At the end of the day, Roger Stone doesn't have a full back tattoo of Nixon because he was innocent. He has one because Nixon is his hero. Nixon was the kind of leader who would do anything to win, including lie and cheat and steal. And he was forced to resign because the old Republican Party wouldn't stand for a criminal as their leader. I ask you, where are those patriots now? This isn't at all how the country is supposed to work, and this shouldn't be what the country chooses to accept.